What if I told you there's a place on Earth that looks completely impossible? A landscape straight out of a fever dream, towering stone spires rising dozens of meters into the sky. Ancient carved doorways cut into solid rock. And beneath your feet, an entire city, not ruins, a city, with streets, churches, kitchens, wine cellars, and booby traps. All carved by hand, all hidden underground. And nobody living nearby even knew it was there until a man renovating his basement accidentally knocked through a wall. What he found on the other side changed everything we thought we knew about ancient civilization. This is Cappadocia, and once you understand what's actually going on here, you'll never look at a rock the same way again. Picture the dead center of Turkey. The Anatolian plateau, dry, vast, and seemingly unremarkable from a plane window. But then you drop down into the valleys, and the world stops making sense. Giant stone cones, some 30, 40, 50 feet tall, rise from the earth like something a fantasy novelist invented after too much coffee. Some of them have enormous boulders balanced perfectly on top, like nature decided to play an elaborate joke. Others are clustered together in narrow valleys, their walls striped pink, yellow, and cream. And carved into almost every single one of them, windows, doors, and staircases. These aren't ruins. People actually lived in these things. But here's what makes this story insane. The landscape itself, the whole bizarre, otherworldly terrain was created by volcanoes. And the people who moved in figured out how to turn that volcanic rock into the world's most genius building material. To understand how, we need to go back, way back. Millions of years ago, during the Miocene epoch, central Turkey was one of the most volcanically active regions on the planet. 3 major volcanoes, Erciyes, Hasan, and Guludag, erupted again and again, hurling millions of tons of ash and pumice into the atmosphere. That ash settled to the ground in layers, one on top of another, year after year, century after century. Over time, those layers compressed and hardened into a rock called tuff, essentially fossilized volcanic ash, soft and porous, almost like compressed sand. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all tuff is the same. Different eruptions produced ash with different chemical compositions and temperatures. So the rock ended up layered, alternating bands of soft material and harder, denser material. When millions of years of rain, wind, and freeze-thaw cycles started eroding everything, the soft layers wore away faster. The harder layers stayed put, capping the soft cones beneath them like natural umbrellas. The result? Those famous fairy chimneys, tall spires of soft tuff, each topped with a boulder of harder basalt. The cap protects the soft rock underneath, just like an umbrella in a rainstorm. When the cap finally falls, and it always falls eventually, the cone below quickly erodes. Across Cappadocia, you can see chimneys at every stage of this process. Some are tall and proud with their caps intact. Others are low, rounded stumps that lost their protection centuries ago. It's geology happening in slow motion, right in front of you. And into this surreal landscape came people, and when they arrived, they discovered something that would change the entire course of their lives. The tuff was soft enough to dig, not just dig, carve. Fresh, newly exposed tuff is so soft you can literally cut it with a knife. A person with basic tools, a sharpened stick, a stone chisel, could hollow out a room in just a few days. But here's the brilliant part. Once the rock is exposed to air, a chemical reaction kicks in. Oxygen and carbon dioxide slowly harden the surface. What was once soft enough to carve becomes tough enough to last for centuries. Nature essentially created self-hardening modeling clay. You shape it, then it sets like concrete. The first settlers, almost certainly the Hittites, one of the great Bronze Age civilizations and rivals of ancient Egypt, immediately saw the potential. Why haul stone across a landscape and stack it into walls when you can simply hollow out the rock that's already there? Why build a house when you can become the mountain? They started small, simple caves, then rooms with shelves and niches cut into the walls. Then multi-story homes carved entirely inside a single chimney cone. The ground floor became a stable for animals. The second floor, a kitchen and pantry. The third, sleeping quarters. The top level, a pigeon loft. Wait, pigeon loft? Yes, and that's no accident. Pigeons were one of the most valuable resources in ancient Cappadocia. Their droppings served as fertilizer for the vineyards and fields, and the birds themselves were a reliable source of protein. Hundreds of these carved pigeon houses still exist across the region, some over 1,000 years old and still occupied by birds today. Many of their facades are painted with bright geometric patterns, red, blue, and white, which locals believed attracted the pigeons. From a distance, those decorated cliffs look like the world's oldest abstract art gallery. And the thermal properties of tuff? Extraordinary! The porous structure of the rock traps air, turning stone walls into a natural insulator. When it's 0 degrees Fahrenheit outside, it's a steady 55 inside. When it's 95 in the summer sun, that same interior holds at 55. Year-round, no heating, no air conditioning, no electric bill. The people of Cappadocia had climate-controlled homes thousands of years before anyone else on Earth even conceived of the idea. But the stone chimneys and carved cave homes, that's just the surface. Literally, because the real story is underground. In 1963, a resident of a small town called Derinkuyu was doing some home renovations. He was working on his basement wall when he broke through into an empty space. Behind the wall was a tunnel. The tunnel led to a room. The room led to a corridor. The corridor led to a staircase going down. More rooms, more corridors, more stairs. The man had just discovered the entrance to the largest underground city in the ancient world. Derinkuyu is a subterranean complex descending more than 280 feet below the surface, 18 levels, connected by staircases, ventilation shafts, and tunnels. A city capable of sheltering up to 20,000 people, along with their livestock and food supplies. And here's the wild part. Local residents knew there were passages in their basements. They just had no idea how deep it actually went. When archaeologists began a systematic study of Derinkuyu, what they found inside forced them to completely rethink what ancient peoples were capable of. This was not a collection of random caves. This was a designed city with deliberate, sophisticated architecture. The upper levels housed stables. Animals were kept close to the surface for ventilation reasons and for ease of waste management. Below that came living quarters, rooms carved 3 to 5 meters wide with niches for oil lamps and stone shelves, and sleeping platforms cut directly into the walls. Deeper still were storage rooms. Giant stone jars sunk into the floors held grain, olive oil, and wine at a constant 55 degrees year-round. A natural refrigerator, thousands of years before electricity. On one of the lower levels, archaeologists found a church, a cross-shaped hall with a stone altar and carved pews. Nearby was a room interpreted as a school, a long hall with stone benches along the walls and a raised platform for a teacher. And then they found the winery, a long room with stone channels running along the walls and deep pits cut into the floor. The channels were for crushing grapes. The pits were fermentation vats. People hiding underground from invading armies were pressing wine. There's something simultaneously absurd and deeply human about that. Life continued, even underground, even in fear. People baked bread in stone ovens, the soot still visible on the ceilings today. Kids played in the corridors. Archaeologists found children's drawings scratched into the walls with sharp stones. Families lived, ate, worked, prayed, and yes, probably fell in love and had children, 50 meters below the surface in rooms that never once saw sunlight. The sanitation system deserves special mention. Yes, Derinkuyu had toilets, and they were engineered with impressive sophistication. Waste facilities were placed at the outer edges of each level in dead-end corridors with their own dedicated ventilation. Waste flowed down vertical shafts to collection chambers on the lower levels, fully isolated from living areas and water supplies. The ventilation system was the true masterpiece of the whole design. 52 vertical shafts were punched from the surface all the way down to the lowest levels. These shafts functioned like the city's lungs. Warm air rose through them, drawing fresh air in through the entrances and horizontal tunnels. The system was so effective that even at 280 feet underground, the air remained breathable. Some of those shafts doubled as wells. Groundwater collected at their base and was pulled up by ropes and buckets, a water supply solution for 20,000 people that would challenge modern engineers today. The defensive systems were equally genius. Every level could be completely sealed off using massive circular stone doors, round slabs up to 5 feet in diameter, weighing around 1,000 pounds each, rolled into doorways from the inside. There were no handles on the outside. The discs fit into specially carved slots that prevented them from being pushed back. An enemy who broke into one level was trapped. They couldn't go up. They couldn't go down. Meanwhile, the defenders retreated deeper with weeks of food, water, and breathable air. The corridors themselves were designed as killing grounds, narrow passages just wide enough for one person at a time, perfect choke points where a single defender with a spear could hold off dozens of attackers. In some sections, the ceilings were deliberately lowered so that an attacker couldn't raise a sword. In the floors, holes were carved through which defenders could pour boiling oil or scalding water onto anyone trying to push through below. Derinkuyu wasn't just a hiding place, it was a fortress. And Derinkuyu is just the most famous. A few miles away lies Cappadocia, another underground complex, 8 levels deep. Between the two cities, locals and some archaeologists have long claimed there exists a tunnel nearly 6 miles long connecting them. That tunnel hasn't been fully explored yet. Collapses and flooding make it extremely dangerous, but geophysical surveys suggest it's real. If it is, then Cappadocia's underground wasn't just a collection of isolated refuges, it was a connected network, a subterranean highway system. In total, archaeologists have found more than 200 underground cities and settlements of varying sizes across Cappadocia. And researchers are confident they haven't found everything. In 2014, during construction work in the city of Nevşehir, a bulldozer broke through into a void. Under the foundation of a house where people had been living for decades was the entrance to yet another underground city, one that may be even bigger than Derinkuyu, potentially sheltering 30,000 people. Excavation is ongoing. The underground world of Cappadocia keeps revealing itself centimeter by centimeter. So who actually built all of this? The honest answer is many peoples, over an enormous span of time. The ancient Greek historian Xenophon, writing in the 4th century BC, described people in Anatolia who dug their homes underground, large enough for entire families, plus their animals. But many archaeologists believe the first tunnels were dug far earlier, possibly by the Hittites during the Bronze Age, 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. After the Hittites, the underground cities were expanded and used by the Phrygians, Persians, Cappadocian Greeks, Romans, early Christians, Byzantines, and Seljuk Turks. Every culture left its mark. Phrygian grain storage niches, Roman ventilation improvements, Christian crosses carved into walls, Arabic calligraphy near entrances. The underground city is what historians call a palimpsest, a text written over another text, written over another, written over another. Each layer is a civilization, each scratch on the wall is someone's life. early Christians played a particularly crucial role. In the 1st centuries AD, when the Roman Empire persecuted followers of the new faith, Cappadocia became one of Christianity's most important refuges. Believers retreated underground, performing baptisms, holding services, and burying their dead deep beneath the earth, far from the eyes of Roman soldiers. The underground churches of Cappadocia are among the oldest in existence, some over 1,700 years old. Their walls carry primitive but achingly beautiful frescoes, fish symbols, crosses, figures with halos. The art of people who prayed in total darkness and believed that one day they'd pray again in the light. The most intense period of use came during the 7th and 8th centuries, when Arab armies repeatedly swept through Byzantine Anatolia, burning and pillaging everything in their path. For the Christian population of Cappadocia, the underground cities were the difference between life and death. This is when the most elaborate underground churches were carved, including stunning frescoed sanctuaries that still exist today. Imagine gathering for worship 150 feet underground, surrounded by oil lamps, the faces of Christ and the Virgin Mary painted on stone walls above you. Those paintings, made over 1,000 years ago, still look down at every visitor who descends today. The colors remain vivid, the eyes still follow you around the room. Above ground, Cappadocia holds another layer of wonders. The Gerim Valley, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, contains more than 30 rock-cut churches with frescoes dating from the 9th through the 11th centuries. The dark church, called that because a single tiny window is the only source of natural light, has frescoes in near-perfect condition. Blues made from lapis lazuli brought all the way from Afghanistan, reds from cinnabar, gilding from real gold leaf. In a church the size of a studio apartment, artwork that rivals the great cathedrals of Italy and predates most of them by centuries. Today, Cappadocia is one of the most popular tourist destinations on Earth. Every morning at sunrise, hundreds of hot air balloons rise over the valleys. Tourists float above the fairy chimneys, photograph the landscape, and land for a glass of tea. But here's what most of them don't realize. When they descend into Derinkuyu, they see only the top 2 or 3 levels. The remaining 15 are closed to the public, too many collapses, too much flooding, not enough ventilation for unprepared visitors. Even just those top levels hit you hard. You descend a narrow staircase carved into the rock. The steps are worn smooth by millions of feet over thousands of years. The ceiling drops. You hunch. You squeeze sideways through a passage barely 18 inches wide, one of those deliberate defensive choke points. You pass a circular stone door, 3 feet across, propped against the wall, and something clicks in your gut. If that disc were rolled into this doorway, you'd be trapped. Beyond it opens a hall, low ceiling, stone niches in the walls. People lived here, ate here, slept here, had children here, died here. And no light ever reached them except whatever they carried with them, an oil lamp 1,000 years ago, an LED flashlight today. On the walls, tool marks, semicircular grooves from chisels arranged in rows like lines of text. Every groove is one strike of a tool. Every strike is one moment of someone's life. Thousands of strikes per square meter, millions per level, billions across the entire city. When you stand in those corridors and run your fingers along those marks, you're not touching stone, you're touching time. Thousands of years of patient, stubborn, heroic work, transforming a mountain of ash into a city for the living. What lies on the 18th level of Derinkuyu at 280 feet underground, only the archaeologists who've been there truly know. They describe rooms of absolute silence, air that may not have moved in centuries, and walls covered in chisel marks left by hands that worked in darkness 3,000 years ago, cutting their way deeper into the earth with no idea they were creating one of history's most extraordinary achievements. Here's what I keep coming back to. The people who built Cappadocia's underground cities were not great architects. They didn't leave their names behind. They were farmers, shepherds, vineyard workers, ordinary people who wanted one thing: to survive. And to survive, they dug, generation after generation, level by level, meter by meter. They didn't know they were creating a wonder of engineering. They just knew that up above was dangerous and down below was safe. That enemies came and went, but stone stayed. That the only thing standing between them and death was the thickness of volcanic rock and the endurance to keep carving through it. A volcano erupts. Its ash buries a landscape in death. Millions of years pass. Rain and wind sculpt that ash into something strange and beautiful. People arrive and discover that the material of the catastrophe is now the material of survival. The same volcano that tried to kill this land became the architecture of life for everyone who came after. That might be the most beautiful irony geology has ever produced, and the most compelling proof of what ordinary humans can accomplish, armed with nothing but a simple tool, a soft rock, and an unbreakable will to live. If this blew your mind, and how could it not, hit subscribe and check out the next video. The rabbit hole goes even deeper.